To learn to live the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Click the bell notification. It's all free. So as I showed you in the previous video, this is sycamore, and I took it from the stack out back of the house here and brought it onto the porch. It's dry, it's ready to burn, so this would be good for October when it's, you know, not real cold. The BTUs aren't very high on this. It only took about 6 months to dry. We'll let it sit here, that way it won't get rained on anymore, and then when we're ready for fire, we can just start this up. There's probably 2, 3, maybe even 4 weeks firewood there. So that'll get us into November, December time frame. Then we can start getting into the walnut, because walnut's dry, but it's got higher BTUs. And then in January, we'll get into the oak. Well, yesterday's video was quite the disappointment to me. Not the one I posted, the one I made. We went off site and we got all this firewood right here. And I made this very beautiful, well, I caught some beautiful footage of the lake. Woman posted on Facebook, free firewood, of course, I jumped right on it. This was last week, and I said I'd come out on Sunday to get it. So Sunday rolled around, and I went and got it. I made footage of it, but for some reason, something happened, and all but 2 of the pieces of footage that I made were erased. So today we got to go back, and so I thought I'd show you the lake of today, going back and getting the rest of it. Day before yesterday, when I moved the sycamore, it caused my stack of wood here to be off balance. This side over here fell over onto the lawnmower, so pretty good distance here of firewood that fell over. So Carolyn and I had to come back and restack it. I stack it in 2 stacks. You might be able to see here. And the reason I do that is so they can lean in on each other. And you don't want to do any more than 2 stacks, otherwise you won't get a breeze to go through them, and that center stack won't ever dry. The other reason I do it is so I can easily calculate how much wood I have by cord. A cord is usually measured 4 feet tall, 4 feet wide, 8 feet long. So if you look at it here, I'm roughly 4 feet wide. And right here, you'll see that that's probably about 4 feet tall. Now, I try to bring my firewood up to about 5 feet, just so I'm safe. I know that I got a cord. It's probably more than a cord, but I'd rather have more than not enough. Now, another way to calculate a cord of wood, is you can measure it out. 4 feet times 4 feet times 8 feet, I think is 128 cubic square feet. So you don't have to do the 4 by 4 by 8. You can have it however you want it. You just got to measure it out and then calculate it out and see what you got. And so there's a lot of different measurements. People use ripcord and rick and so forth and so on. All of it to me just doesn't matter. I stick with cord. It's easy to calculate. I don't have to remember a bunch of different numbers, different sizes, different stacks. Each truckload is 1/3 of a cord. That's easy to remember. So yesterday we got this stack here. That'll be another 1/3 of a cord. So that gives us 1 cord and 1/3 in the last, what, week and a half, because we got all that the other day. We got all that from a different house. So we're gonna go back today and get the rest of it. Now, this stuff is on a big hill. And so the family came out yesterday and tried to help us. The family, the house owners, it's just a man and wife, I guess. And I feel like I'm in really good shape. And well, he comes out first, and he's running up and down the hill, and I'm already breathing very heavily. I'm really feeling embarrassed. You can tell he's an athletic type. He does jogging, and I noticed my breathing was hampered again. And I've told you that this summer I've been having a lot of problems with my breathing. So I've been carrying around Primatene Mist. So I took 2 breaths of that, and it was like a second wind. No pun intended. It was really a second wind. And I was really feeling good, and I was keeping up the guy pretty well. Now, I did notice for some reason that he was taking all the small stuff and I was taking the bigger stuff. As we're getting to the second stack, they're starting to wear out, and I'm still going. it was to the point where I was getting the impression they wanted to quit. So I took the hint and I said, well, I'll quit for the day and I'll come back. I may not be as in good of shape as those folks, but I do have a lot of endurance. I can work all day long, but I just couldn't work at his pace. I mean, he was just running up and down that hill. He fell 3 times. I never did fall. Okay, I know from the camera angle, you can't see how steep this hill is, but it's just monstrously steep. Almost down to the water line is where the wood pile is. So I'm gonna have to carry each piece up individually. They're pretty heavy too. These are getting into bigger sizes. Well, the size you saw at the house that I was splitting. It's a beautiful lake. The sun's coming up over the lake and it's shining off the lake. Man, just an awesome place. But this is just the deal. Now the thing is they said that they're gonna cut down another tree and they're gonna, of course, land it closer to the road, and they want us to come back to get that. So it's well worth the effort to go ahead and try to get this one cleaned up as best I can so I can come back, and it's like repeat customer service. Okay, so I got the rest of it. It's not quite a truckload, but it's close. So it's close to 2/3 of a cord that we got from this place. I'm exhausted doing it by myself today. Man, that was a lot of work, but it's all gone. To kind of give you an idea of what the hill looks like, this is the garage. And so you can see that I'm taller than the roof here. But then when you come over to the side, you can see that it stoops way down. So that should give you a little bit of scale on how big this hill is. So Carolyn estimates that I did 65 trips up the hill, and I just took my time. I would come up the hill, take maybe a 2-minute break, let my heart rate come back down, and then I'd slowly walk down. And so it was more like the turtle and less like the hare. And the thing is once I get rested and start feeling better again, I'm going to forget how bad this was, and I'm just going to be proud of the wood I got. The thing is the pride is going to last a lot longer than the pain and the dread of getting this. The wood's going to last a full season. The pain and the dread lasted 2 hours. Well, 4 hours if you count yesterday. I'm going to rest first. I didn't bring enough water with me, so I'm going to have to get some water down me, rest, and then we'll get this unloaded. Okay, I got home and I got the truck unloaded. When I got home, I remembered we had some powdered Gatorade. So I made 3 pints of powdered Gatorade and I drank it all. And I instantly felt better. I was pretty worn out. And I kept thinking, man, I gotta go down and check on the chickens, make sure they got water. I gotta unload the truck. And I just didn't have the energy. I was just completely burned up. The thing I keep thinking about today is my push. I kept pushing myself to go get another load and go get another load. I guess I was taking about a minute break in between each trip. So maybe there was a minute to get up and down the hill. I guess if you think about it, that's about 2 hours. And I just kept pushing myself. And I kept saying that I can't do this. I'm 50 years old. And I'd say, no, it's just one more trip. Get one more trip. No, one more trip. And before I knew it, I had it all done. I will admit, there towards the end, I was starting to get a little concerned because I noticed I'd stopped sweating. I didn't tell Carolyn. I probably should have, but I didn't tell Carolyn because she'd have just said, let's stop. There wasn't that much left to do. I could get it. Yeah, and I knew I didn't have enough water. Carolyn brought a bottle. I brought a bottle. That's usually enough for us, 2 hours. But today, it wasn't enough for me. So she let me have one of her bottles. She had a partial bottle, and I found another partial bottle in the back of the truck. So I guess I had about 2-3 bottles of water. I will hear people say, I'm 75 years old and I go out and chop wood all day long. And I believe that, I do. My dad is 68 years old, I think. And he's building a house. I mean, he's just nonstop. He gets up early, goes to bed early, and he doesn't work as hard as he used to, I would imagine, but I just keep at it. But I hear so many people tell me they can't do something For one reason or another, there's just one reason they can't do it. And I think a lot of times people are already talking themselves out of it before they even get started. I mean, I looked at that hill yesterday and I thought, oh my goodness, this is just, And so you had the dread and the fear of the pain. And when I ran cross country, I mean, I wasn't any track star or anything, don't get me wrong. But I was, I don't know, second or third on my team. But I did learn that you can push through most pains, that you're not dying. You got to be careful. You got to understand that when you get up to the top of the hill, you got to take a break and get your heart rate down. You got to understand you got to have plenty of liquids in you. You got to understand when you stop sweating. You got to recognize all that stuff. Once you get past all the fears and you just keep pushing and thinking, okay, the human body is designed to do this as long as you don't give yourself a heart attack. And the thing that gives you a heart attack is working. You can feel your heart beating just as hard as it can beat. Like yesterday, that guy just ran circles around me, but he died really quick. Today, I just took my time. I think even if you're in the worst shape ever, that if you just give it a little bit, just a little bit here and a little bit there, that you can do it. Carolyn loaded this truck all by herself. I didn't put any of the wood into the truck. Now, she's got a bad back, but she just kept at it. And when she got tired, she would sit, drink some water, and then start back up. And she kept up with me just fine, loading the truck. I would say do a little bit each day. And the next day, do a little bit more. And pretty soon, you're going to say, I can do this. I hope I can inspire you to get rid of the word can't so you can live in your dream. Thanks for watching.